isn't he, already? And he's old enough, he's finishing in the top 3 of the Roockies Cup, so that gets the 1-year dispensation, and he'll be 17 before the start of the season. So, you know, it's hard to imagine that he isn't going to be moving up to the Moto3 grid as well. I mean, David Gonzalez could even join him. He's old enough as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, what we've seen is the age restrictions have changed, obviously, in the last few years, and now it's finally caught up, and we're having 18-year-olds in Roockies Cup, even in just their first year, potentially putting themselves in the shop window, aren't they?
Well, that's right, yeah. and I believe David will be 18 before the start of the season, so you know, he could be on the Moto3 grid. He's certainly going fast enough at the moment, isn't he?
Well, certain riders will definitely be saying goodbye to the likes of Marco Morelli, Leo Ramersdorfer, Hakim Danish, etc. Riders that have done their full 3 years. We certainly wish them very well. Don't know where we'll see Ramersdorfer hereafter, but anybody else we should be saying goodbye to, Peter?
Well, no, it's you know, a lot of those guys will be back with us again. Will begin next year. Just as we're looking at the grid, I've got,
and it's the first time his dad was ever on a plane as well to come see him.
It's a long flight to take.
Yeah. They're not all like that and absolutely horrible or anything, are they? So, yeah. But what a sweet man. Thank you very much, because I was down in 15th. But what did the winners do? What were they doing through that corner? They analyse, they pick it apart, and then they try and improve for today's race.
And one of the things that they can, of course, change between races is the overall gearing. You know, unlike, you know, the bigger classes, these bikes, you can't change the internal ratios on a Roockies Cup bike. You can change the overall gearing. And Brian said that he had a short gearing, and he thought that it was only him and Marco Morelli out of the front runners who had the short gearing. He said that helped me get the drive.
There's wet patches drying up a little bit more, but got to be a bit careful on the changes of direction. Maybe that'll cope with it, can't they?
Well, they can. When they're warm, they do still get a decent amount of grip. But, you know, it's got to be a bit of caution there. And, well, you know, when you're enjoying doing that sort of thing, you're a hard man to beat.
And, you know, I mean, who else was able to do that, you know, yesterday? And there's a reason why potential future team bosses for Brian, you know, he's been the talk of the paddock for the last couple of races. They really do believe him to be one of the special ones. We have seen a crop of rookies come up in the last several years who are really doing the business. He is the next in line.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are, the last race of the 2025 Roockies Cup season. It's our 19th season in Roockies Cup. The Cup has been decided, but so much on the line here in these final laps, the 15 laps of Red Bull MotoGP Roockies Cup action for 2025. Tension, revs, and they're away. Who makes a good start? Veda was absolutely superb off the line yesterday. Again, but he's into the first corner. No, this time it's Brian Uriarte around the outside.
Giulio Pugliese and Marco Morelli get a little bit swamped there, but tell you who else got swamped? Hakim Danish. 5 and 6 then, all relatively safely through at that point, onto the little short.
Yesterday's disappointment, and who's
Brian saying, "Get behind me, stick behind me. I'll take you far away." And I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, right, now they're out the drive onto the back.
Would be heading up to Moto3 next year.
At the moment it stands with Andrew Piqueras on 11, and in third place they flash across the start and finish line for the first time.
Christian Daniel Jr. can now take his long lap penalties down in fourth. Fernandez, who he collided with yesterday, up into 11th place now.
Yes, I say,
from his starting point on the grid, Luca Agostinelli, the number 9, the Vietnamese rider in 8th position. This is by far the best we've seen from him. Position buoyed by the confidence from yet another podium yesterday. Christian Daniel
gets pushed aside there. He's lost a couple of places. Zen Mitani, and also to the 31 Agulis moving up as well. He's got in front of Veda Pratama. So Veda lost about 3 places on that.
To the inside of Uriarte, but he lets the brakes off, and a few riders action tucked the front almost, but Mitani lost a place, as did Morelli, trying to avoid him essentially. Or did someone just break in?
He wasn't thrilled with yesterday's race at all, but this is his chance to sign in front of his home crowd. Oh, and he's looking determined. They're weaving and bucking around there as he on the brakes
to move up into the Moto3 World Championship with.
And it still is the number 31 in front, Giulio Pugliese, the 16-year-old Italian.
This is Indonesia. Asia for second in the championship. We remind you, 1 point. Yeah.
Okay, so Brian still has the advantage, but up in the second place, Guilia Pujale.
Tight but clean move from the Malaysian then. Really
Clear dry line, but you just got to be careful you don't get offline. Maybe that limits some of the overtaking possibilities.
Pugliese had a big moment on the exit of turn 6 there, loses a bunch of places. Danish then into the Japanese rider. How about this as an advert for the Asia Talent Cup? 3, 2, 3 and 4 Asia Talent Cup graduates.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Great stuff. And
the rest and everything, Peter.
Absolutely. He is so determined, isn't he, to end his season on a high note already. But he isn't slowing down at all. He's right on Zen's tail.
What a character. Go on, Morelli as well, up in a third place too. The last 3 years, but he's already announced to join the Aspar team alongside Maximo Quiles in Moto.
A couple of thirds and a second yesterday. He'd love to sign off with another victory. There.
Cut it 2 inside a couple of times, nearly clipping the back wheels of various riders.
That's right, but assuming that he's kept the same gearing as yesterday, he and Brian are on the short gearing, so he can...
Yeah, Morelli definitely catching him sector by sector, isn't he? And as long as Pratama, Mitani and Danish, as well as Gonzalez, keep it fairly tidy as well, they'll be back on it, and that is not your usual...
You know, hoping to pick up a Moto3 ride for next year. Superb.
Marco Morelli was a second quicker than everybody at 1:45.3. Goodness gracious.
Man, that's incredible, isn't it?
Fast as that. That graphic on your screen is wrong.
Okay, right. Veda Pratama fell off yesterday, but now is wanting to deal with the number 13 of Hakim Danish. He's a couple of places ahead of him.
Still all to play for, as we know, in Roockies Cup in this final race of the year. Mitani and Pratama, absolutely brilliant, as close as you like. They are not shy. What a character. What a character. Absolutely love it. Gonzalez moves to the inside, up the inside, and Morelli there, the 95, looks for a little bit of space to get first as well, but gets the door. Just sensational. And there we go. Gonzalez was the fastest rider of the race last time around.
So got his head down, and Danish rejoins the race, but he's obviously going to be out of the points. Veda Pratama just has to sort of finish, really, to pick up a couple of points to go back in front of how you've just got to race and not make any mistakes, and that's what he did superbly yesterday and today, because he's out front and he's ahead of the number 11 of David
Morelli, isn't he? Really like that attitude from him, and this is him back to his very bills in as the number 90. I think he's 95 in Moto3.
I don't think he's going to just hang in there too long. He's already passes it Zen Mitani to take up 4th place. Veda Pratama, and Brian goes inside. That's an unusual drive out, and he does so. He's alongside Veda Pratama, 51 and 54 side by side down the back straight, ahead of the 34 of Zen Mitani through the super fast flop. Just the 5 of them now. They really have split away from Karpushin and the rest.
Yeah, 5 seconds adrift actually. That went up big time in the final sector alone. So this is a real chasing group. I don't think they're
superb stuff.
Going to rename him Larry Lunge after that one, because that was brilliant.
Then it was the David Gonzalez move, really, wasn't it, on the brakes? But yeah.
Down the order then, it's Karpushin and Benyat Fernandez, Ramadeepa, Plump, Pugliese's fallen off the leading group. Yes, we are.
No.
Oh, it's Hakim.
We're going to see Hakim's.
This is Hakim's crash. Down to turn 1 again, Peter. Deary me. Unfortunately. He got biffed by his bike, and then the others. Oh, that was a big crash in the middle of the track. That is not what they want at all. But fortunately,
looks like they're
running
all
away from it. Good
they're
to
all
see.
Getting up. Yeah, that's all we care about at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Right.
Back to the front. Here we go.
Yeah, Brian Iriarte
looking up the inside, guarding his line, looking for a potential overtake, thinking better of it. Other riders are off the track. You see the scrapes on the asphalt there as that sort of happened. Pushing as well. Monignane, Plonk.
Guys, you still can't really have a last lap plan. I've talked about this and think about what you might do on the last lap, but really you've just got to deal with whatever happens. And he says, I just do. Zen Mitani not fighting his way, not sticking his elbows out at the moment. There's 3 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go. I think as he's going to do the same as yesterday, we're going to...
Cunning of all of them, wasn't he? I mean, that's what it's about when you're just preparing for anything to happen. You know, really impressive. Well, it's all about to go off well and truly. Ramadeepa in the background taking charge of the chasing pack. 4.5 seconds of gap now. Car pushing 10th, Thompson 11th, Plonk, Daniel Monignane are in.
I think Veda's got to do something different going down the back straight. And up the inside comes Morelli to take the lead from Brian Iriarte's. Third is...
Oh, so there again. That's what we're talking about. You know, that you just can't imagine how close their wheels are to touching each other.
That's right.
It's just so extreme.
It is just a lap and a half remaining.
He goes wide again.
He's on the green again. You know, two things. He can't have that mistake on the last lap. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, so Brian Iriarte leads a lap and it. Brian has got. You know, and I'm gonna put the money on Morelli. To show his hand. Brian Iriarte leads from David Gonzalez.
How good is their run? Catch him back up.
But Brian Iriarte has it. Up the inside comes David Gonzalez, but he can't do it. No, Brian is too good around the outside. Ramadin wide, he hasn't got that drive. It's Brian Iriarte with a slipstream of David Gonzalez, and Veda's got to catch up because, you know, he hadn't got the drive out onto the back straight.
The question is, Peter, it'll be dive bomb David in second place. That's what we want to see.
And Brian Iriarte goes. Brian Iriarte has to pass through the last corners, and he's going to pick up the record number of victories. Veda Pratama is there in third place, but up the inside comes David Gonzalez.
Come on, David! Go on, have some of that.
But he surely can't pass him on the line. It's going to be David Gonzalez who wins the final Roockies Cup of the year. David Gonzalez over Brian Iriarte.
It's dive bomb. David's done it. What a boy!
Manoeuvre up the inside into the final corner that Brian didn't do last.